Turkey declares 3-month state of emergency. Breaking news update. Published at 4:50 p.m. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan announced the nation is imposing the 3-month state of emergency in the aftermath of last week's bloody coup attempt. Erdogan met Wednesday with his National Security Council and Council of Ministers, the latter of which approved the state of emergency recommendation. The purpose of the declaration of the state of emergency is, in fact, to be able to take the most efficient steps in order to remove this threat as soon as possible, which is a threat to democracy, to the rule of law and to the rights and freedoms of the citizens in our country, Erdogan said, according to a government translation. Original story. Published at 12:27 p.m. Turkey has now fired or suspended about 50,000 people after a failed coup over the weekend as it intensifies its vast purge, battering the country's security forces and many of its democratic institutions. More. Turkey's power cutoff to Incirlik Air Base. The problem for PentagonRead More Photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Police try to stop people from attacking the judge suspected in the failed coup plot in Erzurum, Turkey on Tuesday, July 19. Turkey has fired or suspended about 50,000 people as the government intensifies a crackdown following last weekend's failed coup attempt. Teachers, journalists, police and judges have been affected. Hide caption. One of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Police escort Turkish soldiers, accused of taking part in the attempted coup, as they leave the courthouse in Istanbul's Bakirkoy neighborhood on Saturday, July 16. Hide caption. 2 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish police officers cover the eyes of soldiers as they are transported in a bus from the courthouse in Istanbul on July 16. Hide caption. 3 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey Akin Ozturk. Front row, center, a 4-star general and former commander of the Turkish Air Force, is among those in police custody whom President Recep Tayyip Erdogan's government has accused of having led the failed coup attempt. Hide caption. 4 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. In a mass detention in Ankara, dozens of detainees are forced to kneel, partially stripped. Hide caption. 5 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A man waves the Turkish flag from a car roof during a July 16 march around Kizilay Square in Ankara after the attempted military coup. Hide caption. 6 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Damaged vehicles are abundant outside the presidential palace in Ankara on July 16. Hide caption. 7 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People kick and beat the Turkish soldiers suspected in the attempted coup on Istanbul's Bosphorus Bridge on July 16. Hide caption. 8 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Women react after people took over a military position on the Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul. Hide caption. 9 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People gather outside the Turkish Parliament in Ankara during an extraordinary session after the failed coup attempt. Hide caption. 10 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkey Prime Minister Binali Yildirim addresses the Turkish Parliament after the failed coup attempt. Hide caption. 11 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A protester rests on a bench as smoke billows from the Turkish military headquarters in Ankara. Hide caption 12 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People stand under a huge Turkish flag during a march around Kizilay Square in Ankara in reaction to the attempted coup. Hide caption 13 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Members of the Turkish military surrender on Istanbul's Bosphorus Bridge on after a failed coup attempt. Hide caption 14 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People protesting against the coup wave the Turkish flag on top of a monument in Istanbul's Taksim Square. Hide caption 15 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Clothes and weapons belonging to soldiers involved in the coup attempt are scattered on Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul. Hide caption 16 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A Turkish police officer in Istanbul embraces a man on a tank in the wake of the violence overnight. Hide caption 17 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Smoke billows from the direction of the presidential palace in Ankara on July 16. Hide caption 18 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People gather on top of a Turkish military tank in Ankara in the morning after the coup attempt. National intelligence officials said the coup was put down and that the government remains in control. Hide caption 19 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish people wave national flags from a car in Istanbul. Hide caption 20 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People gathered around a car damaged by a tank in Kizilay Square early on July 16. Hide caption 21 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People take to the streets near the Fatih Sultan Mehmed Bridge during clashes with military forces in Istanbul. Hide caption 22 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People escape the clashes in Ankara early Saturday. Hide caption 23 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Tanks move into position as Turkish citizens attempt to stop them in Ankara. Hide caption 24 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Citizens in Shivias rush to the streets during the chaotic coup attempt. Hide caption 25 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A man approaches Turkish military with his hands up at the entrance to the partially closed Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul. Hide caption 26 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A wounded man is given medical care at the entrance to the Bosphorus Bridge in Istanbul after clashes with Turkish military. Hide caption 27 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People react in front of the Justice and Development Party's headquarters in Ankara. Hide caption 28 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Soldiers secured an area as supporters of Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan protest in Istanbul's Taksim Square. Hide caption 29 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish military members make their way through the streets of Istanbul. Hide caption 30 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Supporters of President Recep Tayyip Erdogan protest in front of soldiers in Istanbul's Taksim Square. Hide Caption 31 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan speaks on CNN Turk via a FaceTime call in Istanbul after members of the country's military attempted to overthrow the government. Hide Caption 32 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish soldiers block Istanbul's iconic Bosphorus Bridge. Hide Caption 33 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish security officers detain police officers, seen in black, in Istanbul, during a security shutdown on the Bosphorus Bridge. Hide Caption 34 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A military airplane is seen flying over Turkey. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan urged people to take to the streets and stand up to the military. Hide Caption 35 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. People take cover near the Bosphorus Bridge as military airplanes fly overhead. Hide Caption 36 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish soldiers are seen on the Asian side of Istanbul. Hide Caption 37 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. A Turkish security officer stands guard on the side of the road. Hide Caption 38 of 39 photos. Failed military coup in Turkey. Turkish soldiers block Istanbul's Bosphorus Bridge. Hide Caption 39 of 39 teachers, journalists, police and judges alike have been caught in a net the authorities are casting wider by the day, in what is increasingly looking like a witch hunt to suppress dissent. In total, more than 9,400 people are being detained, the vast majority of them from the military. How safe are U.S. nukes in Turkey? Western leaders have urged President Recep Tayyip Erdogan and his government to respect democratic principles and act within the law in response to talk of reviving the death penalty and heavy-handed punishments over the coup. Men detained in the wake of the failed coup in Turkey. Who has been netted? The purge has gutted the leadership in the country's security forces, with at least 118 generals and admirals detained, stripping the general rank command of the Turkish military by a third, according to Turkish state broadcaster RT. Authorities have also suspended 8,777 Ministry of Interior personnel, mostly police, as well as 100 Turkish intelligence service personnel, according to the state-run Anadolu news agency. Here's a tally of just some of the others who have been affected. According to Anadolu, 21,738 teachers in private institutions have had their licenses revoked. 2,745 judges and prosecutors have been listed for detention, although it is unclear if they have all been detained. 1,577 university deans have been asked to resign. Anadolu reported that Turkey's top broadcasting authority on Tuesday revoked the licenses for 24 radio and television companies that it said are linked to Fethullah Gulen, whom Erdogan blames for masterminding the coup. Just watch a exclusive. Turkish president wants cleric extradited. Replay more videos. Must watch exclusive. Turkish president wants cleric extradited. 10:01 Turkey on Tuesday formally requested the extradition of Gulen from the United States, where he lives in self-imposed exile. More Who is man blamed for coup? WikiLeaks shut down. Government has blocked WikiLeaks after the whistleblower website dumped almost 300,000 emails from Erdogan and his Justice and Development Party AKP on Tuesday evening. Access was restricted because of a violation of privacy and publication of illegally obtained data, the Turkish official told CNN. The organization had reported late Monday night that it had come under a sustained cyber attack after announcing on social media its plan to leak hundreds of thousands of documents on Turkish power. On Wednesday, using the hashtag #TurkeyPurge, WikiLeaks confirmed the Erdogan's government had ordered the site be blocked and offered users advice on proxies and IPs to use to access the site. The most recent emails were sent on July 6 and the oldest dates back to 2010, WikiLeaks said. Crackdown of exceptional proportions. Rights group Amnesty International said that authorities had cancelled 34 journalists' press cards and called on Turkish authorities to not arbitrarily restrict freedom of expression. "We are witnessing a crackdown of exceptional proportions in Turkey at the moment," said Andrew Gardner, Amnesty International's Turkey researcher. Turkey's people are still reeling from the shocking events of the weekend, and it is vital that press freedom and the unhindered circulation of information are protected, rather than stifled. The Turkish president's supporters celebrate after soldiers surrendered on Istanbul's Bosphorus Bridge. State broadcaster TRT lost 370 staff members who have been suspended, according to CNN Turk. Hundreds more have been suspended from the Prime Minister's office and government bodies dealing with religious affairs, family and social policy and development. The total fired or suspended is around 50,000 people. More than 9,000 people are currently in detention and are under investigation over the coup, according to Deputy Prime Minister Numan Kurtulmuş. Turkey's Council of Higher Education also demanded all universities suspend academic assignments abroad and that an investigation be launched into all staff linked to what it calls the Fethullah Gulen terrorist organization, Anadolu reported. At least 232 people were killed and more than 1,000 injured when elements of the military launched the attempted coup Friday night. Erdogan called on people to take to the streets, where bloody clashes broke out. Erdogan was chairing the meeting with the National Security Council on Wednesday afternoon, according to Nick Robertson, CNN international diplomatic editor. The president and the council would later inform the cabinet on the state of the country's security and how to respond to it. Erdogan is expected to give a speech afterward. The Turkish people are waiting to see if any emergency measures will be imposed. Will Gulen be extradited? U.S. President Barack Obama spoke with Erdogan on Tuesday about the coup and the status of Gulen, who lives in Pennsylvania. Just watch Who is Fethullah Gulen? Replay your videos. Must watch Who is Fethullah Gulen? 03:56 Obama strongly condemned the coup attempt and expressed his support for Turkish democracy, a White House news release said, without explaining whether Gulen would be extradited. Exclusive: Erdogan vows revenge under the U.S.-Turkey extradition agreement. Washington can only extradite a person if he or she has committed an extraditable act. Treason, such as the implied by Erdogan's demand for Gulen's extradition, is not listed as such an act in the country's treaty. Turkish anti-riot police officers in Istanbul escort soldiers accused of taking part in a military coup that failed over the weekend. Does the U.S. have to extradite Gulen? The Muslim cleric has denied any involvement in the coup attempt. Gulen, in a statement released Tuesday, said Erdogan once again demonstrated he will go to any length necessary to solidify his power and persecute his critics. Exclusive: Erdogan won't rule out death penalty. It is ridiculous, irresponsible and false to suggest I have anything to do with the horrific failed coup. I urge the U.S. government to reject any effort to abuse the extradition process to carry out political vendettas, he said. The reclusive cleric leads a popular movement called Hizmet, which includes hundreds of secular co-ed schools, free tutoring centers, hospitals and relief agencies credited with addressing Turkey's social problems. Soldiers sent for president told Target a terrorist soldier sent to apprehend Erdogan during the attempted coup were told they were to capture an important terrorist leader, Anadolu reported. The soldiers involved in the president's apprehension were informed of the details of the coup as they were being airlifted to a hotel in a resort town where Erdogan and his family were vacationing during Friday's deadly attempted takeover. It is unclear how many soldiers participated in the attack, during which two of Erdogan's bodyguards were killed, and it is unclear how loyal the troops were, given that they were briefed on the coup so late in proceedings. Meanwhile, Erdogan's military aide, Lieutenant Gul Erkan Kivirak, has been taken into custody in southern Turkey for alleged ties to the plotters, according to Anadolu. Several senior figures in the military are facing court in Ankara, military officials have said. CNN's Udan McCurdy, Hadi Alshali, Andrew Carey, Sarah Ganim, Nick Robertson, Selma Abdulaziz, owner Kakir and Gultwisazi contributed to this report. Isilsa Reviews reported from Istanbul. Journalist Angela Dewan wrote from London.